Hey everyone. So this video is going to be about some product updates from Buffalo Creek Machine, as well as some lessons learned. So I've done some quicker paced videos, more like the social media stuff that we all like to scroll real quick and see. But this one's going to be a longer form video that really shows why I've added this product to the lineup, the features that it has that I think make it really useful, and things it addresses that other universal tools just can't address. So what is this? This is a modular action wrench. The difference between modular and universal is a universal tool almost always has to give up some features or some performance in order to accommodate different things. So there's all kinds of actions, Remington 700s, 700 clones, Ruger American, you name it. There's all kinds of different actions. So the universal tools just simply can't address all the different sizes and shapes that the actions come in. So that's actually what had kind of pushed me away from doing this tool, but I had something happen that kind of sparked this. So I've made the Tika action wrench out of aluminum, and these have been great. I've got a lot of good feedback from guys, but I will be the first to admit, with the dozens of these that are out there, I had a guy call me and say that it failed. He couldn't remove his action with it. And it failed right at this 1/2-inch drive. So the design intent of this is, being aluminum, is it's not going to damage your action. It's softer than whatever finish you have on your gun. And if anything was going to break, it was going to be this, which is very much more inexpensive than any of your rifle components. But with that, there's always going to be a failure point. In this case, it was the wrench. So I've done some testing. I'll get into that later in the video, but that sparked the development of this modular action wrench. I really want my company to be based off of quality, and that failure, in my mind, was just unacceptable. So I'd actually considered taking that product off the website, but I had a whole lot of customers encourage me, say, hey man, this was great for me. It was just what I needed. I wouldn't have done this project if it would have bumped me up into the next price point. So I want to offer this as a really good solution, but still bring a whole lot of value to your workbench. Because anything that I could come up with that would kind of beef up this wrench would just make the price too high. It would make it so that it was no longer that value tool and still incorporate everything. So I knew that the next product that was still going to be safe, not damage any of your components, had to be robust, but it also had to be able to have the ability to grow with your collection. So that's exactly what this tool does. It's not universal, it's modular. Now, where the modularity comes in is just like the barrel vise that we've had out for a while, had good success with. You buy aluminum bushings that match your barrel. Well, with the modular action wrench, you buy bushings or soft jaws that match your action. So now we have something that is still affordable, very strong, you'll never wear it out, and something that is relatively consumable and soft enough that you know you're not going to damage your action. So it's the best of both worlds. Where this really shines over like a universal tool, and I'm not here to make fun of these products, I've used them a long time, but because they're steel, they're very durable, but all those tolerances just have no forgiveness. So these actions come in just a little bit of variance. These have to accommodate them, which means they have to be larger so that everything fits. And you can see the wear points where all that slop is taken up, right at the top and up the sides. So this is an example of an action that was removed with that kind of tool. And this had drywall tape on it, or paper. And these, because this is round, you have to rely on friction in order to get these loose. So you tighten these down onto the action, even with something in between them. And if you slip even just a little bit, you're gonna mark your action up. The aluminum solves that in two ways. Because it's softer than the steel, it will deform just a little bit so that you're taking up all those tolerance variations, and you're getting a actual better grip here. And because it's softer, you're not going to mess up your finish. So how much stronger is this new modular wrench than the previous aluminum design? This deformation here happened at about 250 foot-pounds. So because of that, I'd probably rate that at about 200. I'd never want to rate something at its full capacity. I did make some changes that I'll show you later in the video to improve this design and make it stronger. So moving forward, this will be a little bit better design. But to test this one, all we did is I turned this piece of stainless. This would be the diameter of your barrel, and this is the diameter of a Remington 700. So these are smooth surfaces, worst case scenario. I tightened the barrel down into the vise using drywall tape, like you normally would. I had a layer of drywall tape, put the bushings on, and then slid the action wrench over and tightened everything down. I had this fastened on my bench, and it was really, really impressive, the torque that we were able to see. So with the paper on all the surfaces, we reached 450 foot-pounds before the barrel slipped in the vise. That was with these half-inch bolts torqued to 100 foot-pounds. So not a crazy amount of torque to get that clamping, and we still saw that this was 450 foot-pounds before anything slipped. Just to see how far we could take it, we removed the paper from the barrel, put it back in the vise. We saw 550 foot-pounds before we saw any slippage. Then we took the paper off the action side. So I had a layer of paper in there, took that out, put everything back together, clamped it, tested again. The torque wrench that I'm using goes up to 600 foot-pounds, and nothing slipped. So I'd need a bigger torque wrench. Might do a separate video on that, but I was really, really impressed with what we were able to see from this system without any slipping. So no slipping means you're not damaging anything. That's when all of your finishes get wrecked. So I was really happy with that, and we'll go ahead and show the footage of us testing that. We all know everything's expensive, so there was a lot of considerations into delivering value and adding features into this product that make it really, really good for the customer. So on a tool like this, they're made in high volume. Some of them are pretty reasonably priced, but there's sacrifices with that we talked about with the tolerances and just some of the simplistic design. So when I was designing this, I really wanted there to be a lot of value and no sacrifices for the customer. So we knew it had to be from steel because it had to last a lifetime. The other things is stuff like this, long handle, it doesn't really add value to the customer because it just makes it heavier, one more piece that I'd have to make, and one more thing to ship that you'd have to pay for and pay way too much in shipping to get you just the parts that you need. So this has an integrated 1-inch hex on it so that you can use tools you already have. You're not going out and purchasing something, and you're not paying more for something that doesn't add any value to you. So you can use whatever drive you need, whether it's a ratchet, half-inch drive breaker bar, whatever you got. You just need a 1-inch 6-point socket. So with that, it's really nice to not have to use a cheater bar because we have a mallet strike surface. So this hex is deliberately lower than this so that you leave a nice surface here to hit with a mallet and not hit your socket or ratchet. So sometimes just shocking the system a little bit gets you a whole lot better results on breaking that action free without using torque alone. On the top, we've got the torque recommendations for this. I'll probably do a separate video going over the different actions, but short answer, for contoured actions like a Tika and Hawa, you don't need these tight because you have surfaces on the action that are going to be doing your driving for you. So the looser you can have these is actually better, because you don't want to be crushing the hollow surface inside the action. They don't need to be tight, don't over tighten them. When you get into the Remington 700, we have a set of jaws that also works with the Savage 110. So those, you are relying on friction. So the aluminum is going to keep you from damaging your action. And if you like, there's even a counterbore hole that lets you use the front action screw so that you're getting just a little bit more sure grip on that. So to wrap things up, I've been really happy with this product. I'm excited to get it released, and really looking forward to seeing what kind of actions you guys want more soft jaws for. At the time this video is coming out, we've got Remington 700, Tika T3X and T3, Hawa 1500, Weatherby Vanguard, and the Savage 110. Let me know what you guys want to see next for soft jaws. Thanks for watching.